Mhm. What's going on? This is Russ Attitude, and you are listening to the You Want It, You Got It podcast. Today, I am speaking with Andrew Spann from the band Low Before the Breeze. How you doing today, Andrew?
Man, I'm excellent. I'm excited to be talking to you. How are you today, Russ?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to talk to you, man. That's how I meet new people these days.
Oh, that's a great way to. I'm sure you get some characters.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I do. So we're gonna just jump right into things, man. So you play in a band, Low Before the Breeze. From are you guys based out of Atlanta?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. How long has this band been going on?
So unofficially about 3 years. That's when me and the drummer got together, JB. But really been rolling about 2 years.
Cool, cool, cool. So you guys, how long before y'all started playing shows?
It probably took in. We met in the summer of 2021, and I think we played our first show that following January in 22.
Hmm.
But things didn't get too serious until the end of 2022.
Cool, cool. So what kind of music would you say Low Before the Breeze is? Like, give me a description.
Sure. We try and kind of blend a little bit like of black metal into like hardcore, some 90s screamo stuff. Kind of depends who you ask, what genre we are. We tell people that we're just like a blackened hardcore band though.
Cool, cool. And where do you guys normally perform, play?
So up until recently, we've been sort of just around Atlanta. We've been hitting all the usual venues. There's a lot going on at Underground Atlanta these days.
Mhm.
There's Culture Shock is a new venue, relatively new to our practice space. There's the Masquerade, all that. But we're starting to get out on the road a little bit, which I'm really
Okay.
excited about.
You said you just here. You told me before we started speaking here. You guys were on like a little mini tour. Where you played what? Couple dates? Where at?
Yeah. So this last weekend, actually, we were just in Savannah, Georgia, Tampa, Florida, and then Greenville, South Carolina. Us and
Wow.
our good friends in Apostle, also from Atlanta, went out.
Um, how was playing in Tampa?
Oh, Tampa was really cool. It was this venue, this brewery called Deviant Libation. Incredibly like nice space, great sound. It was kind of a smaller room, so it felt full. Even though there weren't like a million people there. Yeah, no, Tampa was a nice place.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, you guys. I mean, how you said 2022. You guys, so basically just a little over a year and a half that you guys have been playing out, huh?
Yeah, about that.
So in Atlanta, like, what's the hot spot to play down there for you guys?
Man, it's like the thing with Atlanta, and we really try and prioritize like all ages shows. That's a
For
big thing
sure, for
for
sure.
us. And those venues are always opening and closing. No, it seems like nowhere can stay that long. So a lot of shows are at Underground Atlanta. There's a few venues down there. Mom Said It's Fine is one of them, and Inner Space is another. Um, there's a great bar that we love to play at called Star Bar in Atlanta, but it's a 21 and up, which does kind of isolate a chunk of the scene.
For
Uh,
sure.
but yeah, I wouldn't say there's any one big hotspot, but there's certainly like a hub. We're,
Yeah.
we're blessed with options.
What is your guys like? What you guys is future looking like? What's next on the schedule for you guys?
And we're about halfway through tracking a proper LP right now.
Okay.
We've put out a series of EPs before this, but that and just getting on the road more and more, sort of the two big ones for us.
Um, the first EP you guys released, where did y'all record that at, or do y'all do it yourself?
So the very first EP, which we're kind of calling it more of a demo now in sort of hindsight,
For sure.
retroactively, it was called Various Raptures. We recorded it in our practice space. So the quality is not like incredible by any means, but it was a really good growing experience.
Is that on anything? Any streaming services?
So we recently took it off of Spotify, but it's still on Bandcamp for purchase. But as we've sort of grown and progressed, had some member changes, it felt best to call that a more of a demo, and sort of everything after that an official body of work.
So I'm looking here now. That you have an EP, that which still aches. What is
Yes.
that? I mean, uh, what are those songs about? Like who
Cool. Yeah.
writes your music?
What was the last thing?
I was like, and who writes like the lyrics?
I do. I handle the lyrics. I do
Okay.
vocals and the lyric writing, and I
Okay.
love. I'm all about writing some lyrics, man. I like to pretend that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, that which still aches is kind of centers around like a lot of existential dread, just sort of these coming to terms that the world isn't exactly what you thought it was growing up. Maybe heroes aren't who you thought they were. Maybe family,
Mhm.
maybe religion, etc. It was also a lot of me kind of finding my voice as far as writing goes.
Is this the first band that you have ever sang for and wrote for, or?
So our guitarist, John, who joined about a year ago, him and I played in like a hardcore punk band back about 10 years ago. And I split some vocals with him and played bass. But
Okay.
this is the first thing that's kind of like my baby.
So Low Before the Breeze is your brainchild?
It is. I attribute every ounce of notoriety this band's ever received to the drumming of our drummer Jonathan. I wouldn't be able to do anything without him. Um, so I kind of think of it as our child, but I sort of handle the aesthetics, the music, the lyrics, etc. And he just makes everything sound really good because he's.
What was your band called back in the day?
It was called False Consciousness. You can find the stuff on Bandcamp, but it's not. We never put it on streaming or anything.
Gotcha. Who were so back then? So 10 years ago, back then, what were the local hardcore bands back then?
Man, let me think. So everybody, oh shoot, see, I'm blanking. Can you edit this out?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm, God damn it, you literally, Foundation,
Oh,
Foundation.
fuck yeah, Foundation.
Everybody
Yeah,
loved Foundation. Everybody loved Criminal Instinct.
yeah,
Uh,
Criminal Instinct. I played with both of those bands.
yeah, God, they were so good. Those were the two, like, I mean, those were the gods, you know.
Yeah,
That was when like the beatdown thing was getting big. I remember Revenge Season was big around then. That's like Knocked Loose was like a local, not a local, but Knocked Loose was like
yeah,
playing.
they're from up the road in Louisville.
Yeah,
So
we were
yeah,
supposed to play a show with them, but something happened. Like the whole tour fell apart. Yeah, it was sort of that era, you know.
it's crazy to see how huge Knock Loose has come from just being that fucking small band from Louisville, and now they're just like this huge fucking band from Louisville, and they're doing their thing. Proud of them.
I saw they have Danny Brown, like the rapper, opening for them, and
I saw that.
I cannot believe it. He's one of my like top 10 musicians. I love Danny Brown.
He's dope. He
And God, I would kill to go to one of those shows, man.
Is it not coming around their way?
I need to look because if it is, I'm gonna be there. But I'm gonna be there for Danny Brown. I like Knocked Loose. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Danny Brown.
And somebody else was on that tour too that I can't remember who it is, because I think it's Knock Loose and they're sharing that it's a split tour with somebody else big, if I'm not mistaken, but I think I might be mistaken. Yeah, because normally if it doesn't hit Atlanta, it comes to Nashville, and if it doesn't come to Nashville, it goes to Atlanta.
Right,
Like,
right.
Atlanta gets a lot of good shows. I'm jealous of you guys though, because you guys do get a lot of good shows down there.
Feels like we get everything that's not like those niche like Pacific Northwest or niche like Northern East Coast stuff. Like
Yeah.
everything aside from those, I feel like we get.
Yeah, I've lived in this area for 30 years, and I've never been to the Masquerade ever.
Oh, really?
And I know there's so many dope fucking shows that have come through there and have played there over the many years. Never been there. I played somewhere in Atlanta. It was right over there by is there a Atlanta college, like a technical college?
So we have Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, yeah. There's a venue over there around over by there. It was 2 stories. There's a club on top and then a club in the bottom. It was ran by this like old Jamaican woman. She was really cool, and we played there, and that's about it. We played about 4 people, got paid 4 beers, and that was it. So we drove from basically Nashville to Atlanta and back for 4 beers, but. We had fun. A friend of ours happened to be playing upstairs, so we got done playing, went upstairs and hung out with them. But that's the closest and probably the only time I've ever been to Atlanta. Never been otherwise.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Fun city, lots to do. You know,
I know a lot of people there. That's the thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But so now you have you have another demo. It's called, or another EP, whatever you want to call it. It kindly bent around me. Um, when was that released?
So that came out the 30th of last month. That came out
Okay.
August 30th.
So this is basically the newest stuff you have out right now.
This is the newest stuff. Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. I listened to that album. You know, it's you guys have a lot of energy, it seems like. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I played it for some people and they liked it as well. But what was behind the writing of that record? The same thing as the first one, or?
Yeah, so a very specific kind of experience for me. I was raised very religious.
Okay.
There's sort of some lasting scars from that. And the title "It Kindly Bent Around Me" comes from this moment that I sound a little crazy talking about it, but I was on this run when I was about 25 years old, and all of a sudden I felt sort of all those anxieties about like, am I going to get into heaven? Am I going to, you know, whatever, am I going to, it all kind of like washed away. And I felt like a peace that I had never felt before. So it's the lyric to start the record and to start the song that it's taken from is "The love that we were promised kindly bent around me." And it was sort of the idea of all that hope that I was supposed to have found through organized religion was sort of instead found through coming to peace with myself.
I hear that a lot about people in this area. Of course, you know, coming from religious families, you know, and then when they do join the bands or play band, a lot of they see there's obviously there's other shit out there, and then you know they that's when they kind of find out who they are and what they really want to be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I didn't come from a strict like or and I'm not saying you said you were, but I didn't come from like a strict or like a huge religious type family growing up. But when I moved to the South, so I feel like I hear that a lot from people. There's a lot of strict religious families out this way. Is Atlanta very religious?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the whole Bible Belt thing.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and you know, not to say anything bad about like my folks. They raised me great. It was more
Cool.
of the the external factors of like the greater idea of religion that have been instilled in friends so that you know they are telling me judgmental things, teachers, I mean youth pastors, whatever. It was all sort of that kind of stuff that that kind of left its mark on me rather than my actual family.
Gotcha. And the name of the band, Low Before the Breeze, what's that? What's that name from?
So it's actually kind of funny because you wouldn't get it from the type of music we play. But
Okay.
around the time the band was starting up, I was and I still am, really into this kind of like harsh noise hip hop group called Clipping.
Okay.
And it's just a line in one of their songs. Just it's literally talking about the temperature dropping. There's nothing profound to it.
I mean, I like the name. It's funny because, like, you know, when you told me the name, and I was like, okay, interesting. It reminds me of like back in like the early 2000s when everybody had like the 4 or 5 word names for their
Yeah.
bands. You know, I kind of miss that in a way. You know, there's like now it's just like everyone has like one word now again. You know, but I like the, fucking poison the wells and
Yeah.
those kind of stuff. But I feel like that era, everybody had like a phrase for a name. Um, but so what kind of music inspired you to start playing? Like what got you into music like as a child?
So as a kid, first band that I ever really latched onto, and it's probably really common of folks my age. I'm 29, and
Okay.
it was Under Oath for me.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
for sure.
absolutely. They're Only Chasing Safety came out when I was in like fourth or fifth grade. I
Wow.
wound up getting my hands on a Tooth and Nail Records sampler CD. It had like them, Me Without You, Norma Jean, you know, Haste the Day, all those like tangential Christian hardcore bands,
For
etc.
sure.
Um, and it, you know, that kind of opened the doors for me. I kind of stuck with that stuff, and then I wound up finding the band ISIS,
Oh yeah.
like the other post metal stuff from there, and then it got weirder and weirder from there. ISIS, Neurosis, Cult of Luna, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's all good stuff right there. Neurosis, especially. I love me some Neurosis.
Oh man, one of the greatest bands to ever do it.
Yeah, they're so awesome. Um, So in school and stuff, were you wanting to play music then, or did you start playing music then?
Man, I did not pick up an instrument seriously until I was done with high school. When I was
Yeah.
18, I started playing bass. No, I was an athlete. I was playing football. Wound up hurting myself, my shoulder, and just couldn't keep doing it. So can I do something else? So I
Yeah.
started. I loved the music. I just didn't think it was for me. Like I just didn't. It didn't make sense that I could do it too.
Oh yeah. I mean, everyone can do it. What was the first show you ever went to?
Man, first show, I'll remember this forever. It was my 14th birthday. It was in October. It was headliner Under Oath. Seosin was direct support. You had the Devil Wears Prada, and you had a rapper named POS. Was at the Masquerade.
Wow, that sounds pretty dope.
It was a great show. Now I'd been to like concerts before. Like my mom took me to see
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Carter as a kid, like when I was like 5.
Wait, wait, I'm sorry. I said I my ear missed that. Did you say Aaron Carter?
Oh yeah, man. I
Okay.
went to see Aaron Carter as like a 5-year-old or something.
Rest in peace, by the way, Aaron Carter.
Brother. Yeah, it was a great show. Great show. You couldn't have shown a better show to 5-year-old me than that.
Hey man, I'm older, and I don't care anymore about what the fuck went and saw anymore, or what I want to go see. I'm just like, fuck it. Like, who? I'm not trying to impress anybody. If Aaron Carter was playing at a club here, I'd go see Aaron Carter. Well,
Hell
he
yeah,
ain't going
I'd
to
go
be.
see him again. I'd go again.
I mean, I took my girlfriend in 2000 to go see my girlfriend at the time to see Destiny's Child and Christina Aguilera.
I bet that was sick.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it was when Christina was at her prime, like her almost, I guess you could say her prime, and Destiny's Child still was Beyonce in Destiny's Child before Beyonce became the whatever the women call her, the queen or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, it was cool. And then the following week, I went and saw Newfound Glory, Midtown, and I can't remember the other band, but yeah, that was a pretty dope tour too. Oh, it was Blink-182, Newfound Glory in Midtown.
Oh boy, another band.
Yeah.
I love Blink-182. I
Oh,
will
dude,
love that band forever.
I think Blink has been spoke about on this. I think every podcast that I've done. But yeah, Blink-182 was during the Take Your Pants Off and Jacket tour. Newfound Glory had just dropped their second album, and Midtown was. I mean, I think they were on the same level like Newfound Glory, but I didn't really know of them too much. But it was a good show, man. It was a really cool show to see.
Sure.
What's one of the coolest shows you've been to?
Man, a lot. I think something that'll stick out to me forever is are you familiar with the like hardcore mathcore band, The Chariot?
Fuck yeah.
So they're from pretty close to here. They're from Douglasville, Georgia. I grew up in
Yeah.
a suburb called McDonough. So I idolized that band. I saw them, 15 times, but I was at their last show, their very final show at the 7 venue in Douglasville. And there's a whole video of it on YouTube, like pro shot. It was just chaos. Everyone was diving off things. Their vocalist Josh was on like a rope swinging from the ceiling. Everything got broken. I think that's the coolest show. Like that was like the defining moment of my show going. I think I was like 18, 19 around then.
I'm thinking 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even that era, there was a lot of Christian metal, a lot of Christian hardcore, a lot of Christian, like there was I feel like that there was a time where the Christian scene was huge as fuck back then. Like my
weird.
band, huh?
It's weird. Like when you look at it, it's like, why were all these bands Christian? It's very strange.
Like bands like you had like Seven Star, and you had bands like War of Ages, which are still around obviously today. Yeah. Bloodline Calligraphy. There was a band from Atlanta. I can't remember their name right now, but they're one with the Archetype or Becoming the Archetype. Yeah, are they from that area?
Are they? I didn't know if they were.
I might be wrong, but I mean, I played with them several times because I was in a band that was at the time they were considered a Christian band, and I guess that's just by the way the singer pushed it, I believe.
Sure.
We were called Guerrilla Warfare, and we played all the fucking Christian shows, like at Rocketown in Nashville. We would play all the Christian shows there, and those bands were pretty rad, man. And I didn't care if they were Christian or whatever they were. It's music's music. It was good, and they threw it down, And then like, we went to Face Down Fest in Maryland one year, and it was pretty dope, man. But
I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. And then and then other bands that from that area. There's a band called from Nashville called Love Is Red. Have you ever heard of them?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Hunter from Love Is Red, went down to Nashville, and then he started a band with members that went on the Foundation called Depression, and
Mhm.
Depression was really good. I think they only were around for a small period of time, and then obviously Foundation formed, and Foundation just they're. I heard this on a podcast the other day, and they were getting referred to as this era or that era's straight edge band, because
Yeah.
because for that era everybody was into Foundation, and now I guess they're doing reunion shows currently, I hear. And yeah, I think they're going to actually, from what I gathered from the podcast, I think they're actually going to go back out and do it for a little while again because they miss it.
I'm excited. They're supposed to be playing Tampa soon
Uh-huh.
for some fest, and yeah, I have a lot of friends going. Um, their guitar player Hank actually went on to start a screamo band called Slow Fire Pistol,
Okay.
who are one of my favorite. They're one of the bands that made me want to play the kind of music we play. Incredible band. They don't really do it like full time.
Uh-huh.
They have their day jobs, but Slow Fire is one of the great Atlanta bands, and I've been very fortunate to get to play with them once.
I think Chad may have told me about them on the podcast or after the podcast, because Chad from Curse Dealer,
Mhm.
his knowledge for that scene is insane. And you know, he was just telling me all these bands. So I'm like writing all these bands down after we got done talking. I'm like, fuck, this scene is huge down there. And I mean, I like to always check out new music. I don't care how old I get, I'll always check out the new bands, because I'm not gonna say I want to be considered one of those gatekeepers and like, oh, only gonna listen to this stuff, because I listen to it all. I love it all.
Man,
My
that's refreshing.
yeah.
It's like I think when you stop looking for new stuff is when you start mentally dying, and not just music, anything, but
Hmm.
music's my thing. I try and listen to a new record every day, something I haven't heard. And I never want to be that old guy that's just like, yeah, I only like for me, Under Oath, like
Yeah.
I only like this hardcore band from 2004 and anything else is fucking lame. Like I always want to know what's going on when people are creating.
Especially when you are a musician and you're in a band, you want to see what else is going on out there, and see, because you kind of want. I mean, yeah, you're writing your own music, but you also want to see what else is going on too.
For sure. There's so many talented, intelligent, beautiful people out there making art, and just because only 20 people have heard it on Spotify doesn't mean it's not the best thing you've ever heard when you put it on.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff out there, and it's always worth finding.
Yeah. Like I always was told too, like, you said, even if 20 people listen to it, the way I was also told, like, if you play a show and there's 5 people there, you play like there's 500 people there or 5,000 people there, because those 5 people might watch you play and be like, fuck, these guys threw it down. And then they might, next time you come back through, they might have those 5 people might bring 5 more people. And then, it just keeps growing.
For sure.
But, no, and people always say, I don't know, there's no new music out there. There's always new music out there. Just because it's not current music, it's still new music, because there's stuff from the 60s and 70s I've never heard of. And that's, when I hear it, that's new music to me. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of, like, I have a huge record, cassette, and CD collection. And I got a music page where my collections are on, and I'm finding people posting all this music I've never heard of, and I'm like, let me check this out. And I found out about some Australian punk band from the '80s that was cool as crap. I'm like, why aren't they around still? But they was just like, there's so much new music out there.
Absolutely.
Um, so this current EP you guys have out,
Mhm.
you guys gonna just keep playing shows around it and until you drop something new?
Yeah, sort of the plan was we've had these songs done for a minute, and we started working on the full length, and we didn't want to get rid of the songs. They don't really sound like what we're working on now per se. It was like, all right, let's put these out. Let's sort of hope we can sell a few to kind of drum up the money to pay for recording, and yeah, that's pretty much it with them. The reception's been great. We've gotten some kind words. We've sold some shit. People seem to be liking it live, so we're just going to keep pushing that. The plan is to finish up the second half of our record in November, and then hopefully it'll be out early next year.
Is it the same similar style of music?
It is. It's a little. heavier, I would say, a little bit kind of it's sort of going to be our first stuff written for in this full lineup. Those three songs were written still when I was the only guitar player, even though they
Gotcha.
have two guitar parts on them. And we re-recorded one with our other guitar player playing because he is far more talented than me. I might be able to write, but that boy can play and write. And yeah, so it's just sort of it's everyone's voice, whereas everything up to this point has sort of been me and Jonathan, our drummers, kind of like brainchild.
Do you guys have a bass player?
We do have a bass player, yes. Brand new. He's been in the band for a month. Dennis Maganda is our bass player, and they are just fucking incredible. They've taken us to the next level from their performance ability, stage presence, ideas, writing, everything about having Dennis has taken us to the next level. And that's part of like why the stuff that we have out now doesn't really represent how I feel like we will sound once we have this LP fully done. Just a lot more influences, a lot just more of everything, I think is the best way.
Do you guys all, I mean, obviously are all four of you guys is there four of you guys in the band?
There's four, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you guys all have, obviously you guys all have different influences and stuff?
Yeah. We come at it from very different points of view.
That's cool. So like what kind of stuff would like your drummer, like what kind of stuff was he into?
So our drummer, so JB's a little bit older than me, and he's like more of an old school metal guy, like extreme stuff. But you'll hear him listening to your older black metal stuff. You're really mathy, technical stuff. He's also, and I want to shout them out for sure. He is the drummer of just the most gnarly like noise metal band called Palaces.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. They just opened.
I have their 12-inch out in my living room.
Oh, which one?
It's the black cover. It has like
yeah. So that's Jonathan. We share a practice space with Palaces, and
dude, they're so rad.
They are the coolest band. I was a fan of JB before I met him. I saw them play with Cult Leader in Atlanta at the Drunken Unicorn, and I was blown away by his drumming. And when he answered a Craigslist ad that I put up, I was like, "You're that guy? You want to do this with me?" And to this day, I tell him all the time, he's my favorite drummer. He will never believe it, but he is my favorite drummer.
Yeah, it's the one I have is I got Tarnish.
Tarnish, okay.
Yeah.
Killer record.
So he's that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, why do you want to do this with me?
That's how I feel every day.
Are they still active?
They are, yeah. They're cooking up a incredible record right now. They just played a show with Mastodon, which is insane.
Was it that secret show?
Yeah. They were the opener for the secret show. Yeah. Just insane.
Yeah. Chad was supposed to have gone to that. He told me, and but his old lady was sick, and he got to you have to take care of the wifey. You can't be But that would have been a cool fucking show because Mastodon they were under another name, right?
Big Hairy Elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah, secret show. No, it didn't fool many people, but I think it was contractually necessary.
Did you go?
I did not go. So it sold out in like 3 minutes. And there were not even the bands were given no guest spots, nothing. It was
it that the day of?
Day of sold out immediately. I knew it was coming. But the website went live before it was supposed to have, and people just bought it all up. Folks were paying $2,000 for secondhand tickets and all that. And I'm like,
it's not that necessary.
Yeah, I get to watch JB drum every day, and I love Mastodon, but I'll just catch him at the arena show,
How big was the venue that they played?
So it's at the Star Bar, which I've mentioned earlier in this. It couldn't be bigger than 300 cap. It might just be 200.
That'd have been sick as fuck, man.
Oh yeah, everyone that went had a great time.
Yeah. I've never seen Mastodon. Actually, I slept on Mastodon fucking till probably about 2 years ago. And I kick myself in the ass now because they are a great band.
Killer band.
Really good.
Killer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even. It's like that's a band that I knew of when they first came up, but once I found out about them, and it was like the next day they were like this big fucking band, yeah, out of nowhere. I'm like, fuck, man. But
They blew up, and they are all the sweetest guys. We're fortunate enough. Some of the members actually own the practice space that we're in, so
Mhm.
we get to meet those guys, kind of like a meet your heroes thing, and they're just very kind when they don't have to be.
They seem really chill. They seem really chill, man.
Oh yeah.
Um, so growing up in Atlanta, though, are you from Atlanta?
So born in Atlanta, then stints in St. Louis, Missouri, and Cleveland, Ohio, then back in Atlanta by the time I was 9 or 10.
Oh yeah,
So
St.
for
Louis is pretty cool.
yeah, it was cool. I was a kid, but
Yeah.
I liked it.
That's another city. My band. I was in a band. This band called Taken Under. We were a band for about 15 or 16 years, and we never played Atlanta. We played Atlanta that one time, but we
Okay.
never played St. Louis. And we were supposed to play the Creepy Crawl, which that's a venue that I wish I could have played because that was like an iconic St. Louis venue, but never got to play there because we ended up dismembering before we can play that show.
Ah,
But we played Cincinnati all the time.
okay.
Love Cincinnati. But yeah, we were just like your typical. It was we were a hardcore band. I mean, if you want to compare us to anything, we were compared to Hatebreed a lot.
Okay.
It's
Perfect band.
not a bad band to be compared to.
Not at all. No.
You know, that was years back, and then like I said, I was in another band called Guerrilla Warfare for a little bit too, which was there. I guess they're still active. I quit them about 2 years ago. I was doing vocals on that.
Where,
You know,
is there
once I
another
started doing,
Guerrilla Warfare?
huh?
Is there another band with that same name?
Yeah, we were spelt like the animal gorilla,
Okay.
and the other one is like the military gorilla, like the
I
GU.
played with the other one. I
Yeah.
in my old punk band, and I was like, I remember them being children. Surely you weren't the vocalist in that
No,
band.
no, 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 no. Actually, it's funny because like in 2019, um, I was playing bass though for the band. I switched from bass and went on to vocals with,
Okay.
but no, the bass. We played with Agnostic Front in
All right.
December of 2019, right before COVID hit.
Mhm.
And then Agnostic Front was playing Louisville in March with Guerrilla Warfare,
Oh,
and I'm
funny.
like, I wonder if they think it's the same group, the same band. But I've gotten calls when Guerrilla Warfare from Louisville started getting big.
Uh-huh.
My friends were like, "Man, you're coming through with blah blah blah." I'm like, "No, that's not us. That's a different Guerrilla Warfare."
Funny.
But yeah, well,
Yeah.
where'd you play with that? Where'd you play with that Guerrilla Warfare at?
It was this northern Atlanta suburb called Marietta.
Oh,
Venue was called Swayze's, which a
yeah, yeah.
lot of folks would, it was legendary for everyone.
Sweden is a well known place.
Yeah, yeah. It closed at some point in the last few years, but
Yeah.
yeah, we played up there. God, that was probably 2014,
Oh.
15, something like that. It was feels like a lifetime ago.
I was in I stayed a week in Marietta. A friend of my mom's a friend of my mom's mom lived in a Marietta, so I went down there and stayed with her and me and my girlfriend went down there because we went to Chattanooga, then we went to Marietta, and actually I guess I did go to Atlanta before because I went to the Wu Tang store that was there, and I guess this was
Hey,
probably like 97 or 98.
very cool.
So yeah, my parents went to the Olympics down there. They said that was pretty rad.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess that was before your time, right?
I remember watching it with my grandmother, but I was
Yeah.
a little.
um, so what do you do in your spare time?
Man, I run a lot. I like to bake a lot of cheesecakes, a lot of cookies.
Nice, nice.
That's about it, man. Do the normal music nerd shit. I
You're the second person that actually
put a bunch
said
of
cooking.
records back there.
Oh yeah, nice.
Collect records, and then I just hang out with my dogs. Yeah, not a lot going on besides the music thing.
Record collection is fun. I
Yeah.
was addicted for many, many years. I had to take myself away from that because I was like, and I have a nice collection, and but I was like, I had to get every variant for every fucking band. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
but now it's like now I'm getting rid of the variants. I'm keeping the ones, the more valuable ones and getting rid of the others. The only
Mhm.
band that I do not sell my variants is I got a bunch of Terror records. I got about 115 Terror records,
Oh boy.
and I got all variants of every this and every that, and yeah, they're probably one of my favorite hardcore bands is Terror.
Man, I've seen Terror once. I saw them at that Furnace Fest.
Which one?
The first one back.
Oh
Was
wow, cool.
2022, I
Mhm.
think. I remember. I tell everyone that, like, the quintessential like hardcore moment of my life. So I was sitting there eating a fucking pulled pork sandwich, watching Scott Vogel get people to kill each other. I was just sitting there eating, and he was just giving his mosh calls, and everyone was going nuts.
Yeah.
One of the best moments of my life, man.
He is probably him and Jamie Jost are the two people on the microphone that fucking just can make people kill each other.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
We my band Taken Under played with Terror in outside of Cincinnati called I can't remember. It's like on the border, Covington, Kentucky. It was Suffocate Faster, Terror, Ringworm, and
Ooh.
some other band, and it was a fucking epic ass show. I was like, I played with Terror. I'm good.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
stop
that's
playing
enough.
for now.
That's
But,
rad.
this year's Furnace Fest lineup is insane, and it's the last one. I really wanted to go, and it's not happening.
Yeah, same here. It's just not in the cards for me, but I'm happy to have gone to one of them.
Yeah, so the night before Terror played Furnace Fest, they had a huge pre-show in Nashville.
Okay.
And it was like Terror and Drain and I can't remember who else, but Love Is Red. And it was huge, man. And I had tickets, and my ride bailed on me at the last minute. Luckily, they streamed it online, so I watched it online, and it was fucking insane. And it just made me make myself upset that I wasn't there.
Right.
But yeah, I would love to have gone to a Furnace Fest. Never went to any of them, and it's crazy because I believe after this one this year, maybe there was only 6 of them, maybe 7.
Like that. Yeah.
And I'm glad that they didn't keep just milking it to make money from it. They're like, this is the last one we're gonna do, and I'm like, I respect that, you know.
For sure.
But these lineups are like fucking all-star lineups. Like every band that you could think of coming back for one more show, you know. I'm like, they got them to come out, you know.
Man, it's all the stuff that like for as much as those things are about nostalgia, right? They're also for the folks like me that were coming up, and like I was 11 years old when some of these bands broke up. I was 10 years old. There's no chance for me to see them. So then I'm getting to see, you know, whoever, Piebald. I'm getting to see, I mean, like Converger, obviously they never broke up, but they're not in my neck of the woods a lot, or, you know, Cave In, or just all these bands that just aren't touring every day.
Yeah.
Or are back from the dead or whatever. And it's like, you know, it's nice to kind of get to say that you saw them. Like I got to see Botch last year. That's incredible. I never thought I would see Botch in my whole life.
I heard where did you see them at?
Masquerade also.
Yeah, my buddy went. He lives in Alabama. He lives in Huntsville, but he drove all the way to Chicago to go see it.
Man.
And then you know, and he was like, it was totally worth it though. He goes, that Bot show was fucking insane.
They sounded perfect.
That's what he said. Perfect. How was Cave In?
Cave In was great. I think one of the most underrated bands in that whole thing. Cave In they should have been. I've heard people say before, like it should have been Cave In and not the Foo Fighters that became the biggest band in the world. I agree. That's like Steve Brodsky has a killer voice. For all the hardcore stuff they did, they write a good rock song, man.
Yeah, I like them, man. I like that. And you said Piebald. I saw them. They used to tour around all the time back in the day. You know, in the early 2000s. They're a pretty good band. They used to come through and play with. There was a local band in Nashville. I can't think of her name now, but they're kind of similar style of music. Gotcha. Nashville back in the early 2000s, Nashville has a good scene. I mean, hell, Nashville always has a good scene for music, I guess. Is there anybody that you haven't seen that you would love to see?
Man, like bands that are active, or like a
either. Yeah, well, go with not active and then go with active.
Not active. Shoot. Here, I'm going to start with active, actually.
All right, go ahead.
Easy. Mount Erie is probably like my favorite band right now.
What kind of music is that?
So it's kind of everything, man. So are you familiar with the Microphones by chance, like the 90s?
Yeah.
So that was one guy, and he just changed the name around
Oh, okay.
2003. So it's just a continuation of that project. But he dabbles from like folk singer songwriter. There's some like black metal records. There's some electronic records. I think everything that he puts out is like very profound and inspiring. So I would love to see him one day.
Does he tour?
Not a lot. He's a single parent with a young child, so he kind of does stuff in his neck of the woods, which is the Pacific Northwest, the other end of the country.
Yeah.
I never got to see Neurosis.
Me neither.
Neurosis. That would be a big one. They sort of changed how I viewed music when I picked up a copy of A Sun That Never Sets when I was a senior in high school. I'd never heard anything like that before, and I wish I could see it live.
So you said you picked it up when you were a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
During high school were you into like that same style of music, or like when did you start listening to like say Neurosis and stuff like that? Like
yeah, I was a big like iTunes guy, and I was always looking at like I would do whatever. I would cut grass, whatever I could for the neighbors, and you go get an iTunes gift card and I'd buy a record. And I had all the like the metalcore stuff. Like I was all into that. And I somehow clicked and clicked and clicked, and I saw ISIS's Panopticon, and someone said it was the heaviest record they'd ever heard. So I was like, well, I have to have the heaviest record. And I bought it. I'm sure you're familiar with that record.
Yeah, yeah.
There's lots of posters. It's not heavy. So I bought it and I was like, this sucks. But I bought it. So I had to keep listening to it because it was before streaming. So, you own it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't want to. So I kept listening to it and I was like, this is incredible. And eventually that led me down into the Neurosis hole. And I was like, this music doesn't sound like this. There's so much nuance to it. There's so much, these vocals are so different than like your metalcore vocals. These songs are so long. It's kind of boring, but in a cool way. It's so profound. And that was sort of what set me in the direction I'm on now.
When you were in school, did you have similar friends that listen to the same kind of music, or no? You were on your own, huh?
Weird. It was real weird.
Yeah. So you started finding music in high school then, basically, like towards that?
Yeah, I would say I got way more independent with it around high school. Then by college, I was in it. I was in school in Atlanta, a small school called Oglethorpe, and I was at shows all the time. That's how I eventually wound up in my first band. I wound up minoring in music, so I was doing a lot with that, like jazz stuff, and just kind of fell into it.
Oh yeah, man. You got any shows coming up that you're going to go to see?
Stuff that I'm playing next week. And I'm really I don't know. Are you familiar with the 90s like grind band Usurp Synapse?
Mm-mm.
They were like grind screamo,
okay,
something like that. And they were like a favorite of mine, and they're sort of like back for their nostalgia run.
Okay.
And my band's opening for them on Wednesday of next week, September 25th. So that's on the books. For stuff that I'm excited to go see, shoot. I don't think I have any tickets right now for anything.
Yeah. Are you into the Deftones?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just announced their tour and tickets went on sale. Well, for pre-sales, they went on sale yesterday, and I got a pre-sale code, and the tickets ain't bad.
Mm.
I have to go because I love watching the Deftones live. They put on a phenomenal show. I used to always say you have to catch them when you got to catch them on certain tours, but every time I saw them when they did not sound good was like during a fest.
Right.
And during fest, you're not going to get the greatest fucking sound unless you're Metallica or Iron Maiden playing a fest. You're going to get your sound. But Deftones, I think it was like maybe Family Values tour or something. It was like Deftones and Korn and Bury Your Dead. It was like, it's when the new metal, because I'm going to say new metal because that's what people refer to it as. The hardcore bands they're playing a fest together like it was crazy. You had those fans and the hardcore fans, and it was just a fucking nightmare. But Deftones are great. If you've never seen them, I recommend seeing them at least once. And this tour, they're with Mars Volta, which would be really cool to see those guys too.
I would love to go to that. It'll depend on the date and everything, but and the money. But I love Deftones, love Mars Volta. That would be a
I've
killer
never
show.
seen Mars Volta, and I would love to. That's another band I kind of slept on
Mhm.
for a long time, which I don't know why, because they're fucking amazing.
Great.
But yeah, Deftones. I've been doing this a lot lately. I've been waiting till the day of and then buying like resale tickets for fucking cheap because people are like, I went and saw Green Day and Smashing Pumpkins and Rancid a couple weeks back, and I got tickets the day of for $40, and I was literally maybe 500 feet from the stage,
That's
you
rad.
know. And it was at the soccer stadium here in Nashville. So even though the seats weren't the greatest seats,
Mhm.
it's a soccer stadium, so you could stand anywhere. So me and my buddy I went with just went around to the center stage area, and we're sitting. So we got a great shot of the whole show. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and then like the Weezer tickets, I did the same thing. I waited last minute for Weezer tickets, and I wasn't finding anything cheap, so I had to pull the plug, and I ended up spending, I think after said and done, for two tickets was like 150 or 160 after taxes. I'm like, when am I gonna be able to see Weezer play the Blue Album in its entirety again? Fuck it.
Yeah, I've heard worse. I've heard people paying worse for other
Oh
things.
yeah, I have a limit on how much I'll pay for a ticket, and I will not pay no more than probably $200 now. Back in the day, I've spent a lot more. I went and saw Prince, and I've spent money on those, but that's I would have paid $1,000 to go see that fucking man. You
Yeah,
know?
Prince would have been amazing. I never saw Prince.
Yeah. Well, I thought I had the cooler story, but Chad beat me because he saw him at some small venue in Atlanta
Ooh.
that only held like 800 people.
Oh, that's wild.
I'm like, fuck. All right, you win. Story.
Yeah, that's wild.
Um, are you into like Green Day and Smashing Pumpkins? Any of those?
Smashing Pumpkins were one of the first like rock bands I ever got into. Green Day, same.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins are still like a favorite, actually.
Have
I
you gave it a listen to their new record?
Yeah, I like the new. I like the new stuff. A lot of people don't love like the post Reformation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oceana is one of my top 4 Pumpkin records.
What's the I can never say the name right. The Oceana, that's a great fucking album.
Yeah.
But it's the Red album with the Statue of Liberty.
Oh no, that's the one. Doomsday Clock was the single.
It
Something
started with a Z.
Zeitgeist. Something
Yeah.
Zeitgeist.
That album is slept on. That's a great record.
Great record. Oh my gosh.
It's and the newest the one that came out at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, the 33 songs.
Yeah.
That was good. It was different. It wasn't what I expected. But this album that they just dropped a couple weeks back, I was like, holy shit, where was this at? You know?
Yeah. It's the 3. It's the Latin with the M. More, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
right
that
now.
was good. But it's like, fuck, he just released 4 albums basically in a year. It's
yeah.
Like, but
I love that band, man. They help shape.
He's a great guy. He's a performer. He's awesome. I was like, have I ever seen them before the other night? And I can't remember if I have. I feel like I have, but I did not. If I have not, well, I saw them the other night, and they were so tight, man, so fucking tight. And it, obviously, I think everybody can say they were influenced at some point for something from Green Day, or Blink,
Man, one of the great bands. I say that about so much stuff we're talking about. We're talking about a lot of shit I like, but dude, Green Day, man. American Idiot came out when I was a 4th grader, which makes me sound like a child, but that rocked the whole world. And I understand they had great shit before that record too.
But that was your introduction to them.
Yeah, and that record was unescapable. That was an unescapable record. It was like just a part of American culture for like 2 years.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, no, I think that's a different album. I think it's been on the charts for like X amount of years, but I can't remember the exact number. But when I saw them the other night, it was like they did Dookie in its entirety.
Oh, that's right.
And then they did 2 songs, and then they did American Idiot in its entirety.
Seriously?
Yeah, they did. So it's the Saviors Tour, which is the name of their new record. But they open up with a song off that album. And then they play Dookie from fucking start to finish, even the hidden track. Then they play some more stuff from the new album, some stuff from Shenanigans, and then they bust into fucking American Idiot. They play that whole fucking thing in its entirety, and then they play one more new song from the new album, Bobby Socks, and then it was over. But it was fucking epic. they sound probably they sound better than they did ever. They're just such a tight, solid band, you know.
Yeah, man, I'm jealous. Yeah, I was I was somewhere when they came through Atlanta. I can't remember, but I had friends that went, and I was crazy jealous of that.
You said you were in the fourth grade. I got a kid that works with me. I call everybody a kid. It's not that
Yeah,
because you're younger. It's just the word I use. But
for
he's 28 or 29. But he said so. I guess fourth grade. So he said he got that album. He was in fourth grade as well, and that was his introduction to Green Day. And then of course when he got older, he went back and discovered everything. You know, he said,
sure.
when he was a little older, Dookie, he would see when I come around, like on MTV or something. He said there was a show in the morning time on MTV that would play like a music videos for a few hours. I'm like, well, you're probably one of the last few people that got to see music videos on MTV
Yeah, man.
because I think from the time that MTV started till now, I think they've played reality shows more than they played music videos.
Almost certainly. Like
You
I
know,
remember having to wait for I would stay up for Headbangers Ball.
yeah,
And that was like all that had music videos, Besides that, it was just the reality stuff.
yep. I mean, I used because when I was growing up, I had, of course, obviously Headbangers Ball,
Mhm.
and that was Ricky Rackman's Headbangers Ball. And then Jamie Josta hosted it for. I mean, that was cool because he was a big figure in everybody's world at that time, Jamie Josta. So who was a better man to have than Mister Fucking hardcore metalcore himself, you know? But and then we had a show called Alternative Nation,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
that was a cool show, but it kind of like lumped anything that was different in there. So you were having heavy bands play, but it was a cool mix of music, you know.
Yeah.
But anywho, what was I gonna say here? You said you were going to school. What were you going to school for in college?
So I majored in communications and I minored in just general music.
Yeah. Are you still going to school now or no?
No, no, I graduated in 2016. I want to say that sounds right. And I've been in the construction business since then.
Oh, and you have an office job for that?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
logistics for a construction company.
Gotcha. Hey, there's a lot of construction companies out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Always building shit. I don't know the last time you've been to Nashville is, but Nashville is I go down there once a year sometimes, but because I only go every time I go to a show or whatever, and I'm like, it
Yeah.
changes every time I go there, man. It's skyscrapers, apartment complexes everywhere now.
Oh yeah, it's unrecognizable from when I went as a kid.
You said your dad's from Nashville?
He is, yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys still have family here?
Yeah, my uncle and his family are out there still.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys need to come play Nashville, man.
Trying to figure out who to talk to get a good show out that way.
I don't, it's funny because like once I quit playing, I kind of fell out of who does what. And I
Right.
know, they got a venue called the Dark Matter, which is pretty popping. It's kind of like the new Muse, I would say, but it's just every band that comes through plays there now. And then there's like, I'm sure you guys might have one of these venues too. It's just like somebody's house and you only get the address the day of. And it's like, yeah, there's one of those in Nashville. There's one here where I live in Clarksville. There's one as well. And there's a show next month. It's like, email us for the address. I'm
Yeah,
like, well, everybody's going to know the address. They already know the house, but
for sure.
park down the street at the church and walk down type stuff.
Love it, man. That's where music lives.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think music is in a good place right now. There's so much, and I also think COVID helped the music, and not the music was in a bad place, but I think a lot of bands came out of one retirement, two just came out of COVID era, and that whole era was great. It was sad when we didn't have music for a year.
Yeah, it was a horrible time.
You know, I mean, I think our venue here in Clarksville, I think 2 months after they put us on restrictions. I think 2 or 3 months later, they started doing shows already. They're like, fuck this, we're playing shows. I'm like, hell yeah, let's play some shows. I had a good time though, man. But anywho, what's one you said you collected records? What's your most prized possession you have for records?
Oh boy. I have a copy of Sun Kill Moon's Benji, which is a top 5 record of mine, and that's kind
Okay.
of a bit of a coveted item due to his release schedule. So I don't have anything that's like crazy valuable, but that was a white whale for a long time.
Yeah.
Just a really pretty folk record if you haven't heard it. Yeah, that's probably the big one. Otherwise, it's I have a very, very extensive Me Without You collection. They're probably
Nice.
my one of my favorite bands. I variant collect them and all their
Yeah.
collector's edition stuff, and have like a hand painted. So like that's rad. But yeah, probably that Sun Kill Moon record's the big one.
Yeah. People always look at me. They're like, "Is that like 5 copies of that record?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Why do you have 5 copies?" I'm like, "You won't understand." And they're like, "What's?" I was like, "They're different variants. They're different colors or different. You know, some are splattered, some are marbled." They're like, "What do you mean?" So then I had to show them. They're like, "Oh, okay, neat." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, like I said, you wouldn't understand." It's like me. Like I am so bad. I don't know if you're the same way with me without you.
Mhm.
But with Terror, if there's a 5th pressing, I'm getting it. It's like I have to
Yeah.
get it. It's like one day I saw that they had Bridge 9 Records put out like an anniversary edition for certain records, and the whole entire covers were silver.
Oh yeah,
You
got
know,
alt
I
cover is
gotta
an
get that.
alt.
Yeah. So I got, yeah. That's really the only That's the only thing I really collect right now as far as vinyl is just anything I find Terror. I look it up, and I've been doing cassettes a lot lately.
Love cassettes.
Oh yeah, I just like any format of music, cassette CDs, you
Yeah.
know, on my collection page. It's like I follow people, and this one dude he'll have like 15 different copies of just say Metallica's Justice for All, okay?
Right.
And he'll have like different variants from different countries of the album, different variants and copies from, on CD and cassettes. And I'm like, fuck, that's insane. And then I met this guy today off there, and he sent me a picture of his garage, and I'm like, bro, you have enough records in here to open up a record store. And he goes, yeah, these are just the ones that are for sale. And I'm like, dude, that's like, he goes, yeah, it's about 5,000 records. I'm like,
Oh my God.
fuck. Yeah. I said, did you buy collections from people? And he's like, yeah, I buy collections, and then I get what I want from these collections, and then I get rid of the others. I'm like, I guess
Huh.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. You can probably find some rare stuff that way.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? You got any questions for me? We're not ending anytime soon, but you got any kind of questions for me at all?
Oh man, I want to tell me like 5 artists to check out. Let me pull out my phone and write them down. Tell me
5 artists to check out.
Yeah, give me 5 things. I got to do a new record every day. You start running out of shit.
Okay, well, it's good that you said because I actually have a list on my
Okay.
phone. It's a playlist. It's called "New Things for myself to check out."
Okay.
Um, and it's different music, so it's like it's not even hardcore. It's not metal. But check out this dude. His name is JT Lux. It's JT, and then it's LOUX.
Okay.
Kind of rocking. I was gonna tell you to check out Tuck Smith, but I'm sure you've already checked him out. Tuck
Okay.
Smith. He's from your neck of the woods. He lives in Nashville now. He was actually in the Atlanta band. Is it Instilled?
Instilled. That sounds familiar.
I might have the name wrong, but I think that's who it is. And I think he was in that band. Check out. Have you heard? Damn it, the new the band with Every Time I Die members.
Better Lovers.
Many Eyes. Have you tried that one?
Yeah, I've heard that. The Keith's new
What do you
band.
think of that?
I feel like the magic was all of them together. I don't love either project that they've come up with. It sounds good, but Every Time I Die was one of my favorite bands, and both of these just sort of don't quite have the secret sauce to me. I know a lot of people like it.
What I thought, man, they put out that last record I felt like was their best piece of work ever, and then they break up, and I was like, fuck, man. I know Andy has a project coming out that he's playing live with in December.
I've heard about that. I'm excited for that. Maybe Andy was the secret sauce.
We'll see what it's. I can't remember the name. It's something. It's a odd. It's not an odd name, but it's just not something I can picture. I mean, he's busy wrestling all the time.
Yeah. Cool as shit.
Check out if you haven't checked out the new Jack White record. Check out the new Jack White. The new Jack White record is phenomenal.
Okay.
check out a band called Graveyard. I just got turned on to them. Um, I would just listen to any record. Um, and then if you like some punk rock, check
Yeah.
out the band All.
All
Um, the album is called Pummel, Pummel,
okay.
and the name of the band is ALL from night,
Cool.
and that came. Oh yeah, and basically what it is it's everybody in the band, the Descendants.
Oh, okay.
Without Milo, it was when Milo went off to finish college or something at school. They
Yeah.
kept the band, and then they got the singer from Dag Nasties.
That's wild. I feel like I've read this on like a Wikipedia
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
Man,
So yeah, that's pretty cool. Um,
rad.
so you guys got any merchandise?
Yeah, man. We got a few things up right now. We have sets of the new release, and it also includes the 3 songs from That Which Still Aches. So it's kind of like a double cassette.
You said cassettes. Okay.
Yeah, so we got the cassettes on our Bandcamp. We have this new very cool shirt done by our buddy in ENT Designs that features a lyric from the new shit. We have a long sleeve that we're running out of, but we still have a few. And then we have a very cheap just like an undershirt that's embroidered with our name that a friend of mine did. But we got it as something for like the kids that don't have a bunch of money. We'll just let them kind of pay like $10, $5, whatever, and snag one.
Gotcha. Do you guys try to keep your prices pretty reasonable still?
I mean, we just try to make sure that we make something. It's
Yeah.
unfortunately like things cost, and
Yeah.
we operate in the red for sure, but we try and keep it like, what could a kid pay for this sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to go with what's going on too. I mean, it's not. It doesn't cost. It costs a lot more nowadays to make merch than it used to. You know, shirts aren't $5.50 anymore to make one shirt. Now they're like fucking $9 to print a shirt. You know, and
That sucks. Yeah.
it does. And you know, it's when I go to all these shows and I don't ever buy merch from like these bigger tours. I just don't like standing in the fucking line. First
Yeah.
off,
It's terrible.
but and the average price nowadays at a show isn't too much different than buying it online because they're about between $30 and $40 for a t-shirt nowadays.
It's
I
wild.
saw I saw where Jelly Roll was selling hoodies for like $95. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
fuck. I bet you it's just a fucking Gildan or a Hanes, but people are gonna buy it. So
Well, yeah, people are gonna buy it because they're there.
I mean, but then again, I guess he has a bigger camp to feed and pay for, you know, and because his I seen that guy has like 6 tour buses, like 3 semis, and it's like, okay, I get you. But so yeah, I mean, at $20, it's like back in the day, I would say $20 for me was a pretty reasonable. But now I've seen bands, I think $25 for local bands. I see for merchandise, for shirts and shit, you know. But
Yeah, we do 30 for the long sleeves, 20 for the short, and then those undershirts are 10.
long sleeves are such a great. I love long sleeve shirts, man. It's like I wear them during the summertime with some shorts. And people are like, "Why are you wearing a long sleeve and shorts?" I'm like, "Because I'm comfortable."
Yeah, comfortable, and I look badass. Cool shirt. Yeah, I have way too many. Just a black long sleeve. My girlfriend was helping me go through some stuff, and she was like, "What the fuck, dude? Why do you have 30 long sleeve black shirts?" And I was like, "Because every good band has one. I don't know."
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't start buying long sleeves till late in the game, and my first long sleeve was a Donnybrook long sleeve shirt.
Okay.
And then I bought an Acacia strain one, and then I got a Madball one, and then I just kept going, and I got Terror. It's like, fuck it, long sleeves are dope. Now that's what I look at first. All right, they got long sleeve. I get long.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I'm actually been selling a lot of my old band merch from older stuff because I've lost some weight, so they don't really fit like they used to.
Yeah.
So I've been selling a lot of my older shit, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm gonna regret this later. Especially when I see somebody buy it for me and then they resell it after they buy it for me for like 6 times what they paid for it. I'm like, how the
Sucks.
fuck? Like that thing sold, that shirt that I sold you for $30 sold for $150. Like, what the fuck? But I try not to gouge. I like to give it to people that I know and I appreciate what I have, you know.
For sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know there's some vinyl that I can fucking sell for my rent, but you know, I don't charge too much for them, you know.
Yeah.
I'd rather somebody enjoy me getting rid of it, because at the end of the day, I only spent 20 or $30 on this record, you know. But,
for sure.
You guys gonna get any records or 7 inches pressed up?
Man, that's the dream. I want that more than anything.
The problem is the the presses is what costs the money, the metal pressings. The vinyl itself don't cost shit to make.
Yeah.
But it's the pressing that I guess that's what it's called, press. But
Yeah.
I guess the goal would be, I guess, find another band and do a split, and then you guys pay half and half.
Yeah, we're hoping for this LP. We're kind of shopping it to labels, and the hope is someone will give us a little bit of money to do it.
Is there any local labels in the Atlanta area?
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, we have a good friend that runs Terminus Hate City. There's some cool Atlanta bands and non-Atlanta bands on that label. So definitely would love to shout them out.
What was their name again?
Terminus Hate City.
Okay.
Lots of cool. If you're into metal, if you're into hardcore, they're sort of like the gateway to the Southeast. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Cool. Yeah, like I said earlier, like I like to find out new stuff, so I'll probably check it out and see what they got on there.
Yeah, our buddies Apostle, who we just finished this run with, are on that label, and they're like my favorite fucking band. I love the fact that I got to play with them was really cool. But definitely want to shout out Terminus Hate City and Apostle.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check out some of those bands, man. Apostle, that's just a cool name.
Great name.
Cool name.
Absolutely great name.
Every time I think of that, though, there was a band back in the day called Reign Supreme. Did you ever hear them or remember them?
I know the name. I can't think of a song right now.
Yeah, they have a song called Apostle. That's okay. Cool. Every time I always think of that, they had a cool logo too. It was like the logo was like it was just a square, and it kind of reminded me of like Run DMC, but it wasn't like that. But it was just, that's what I pictured, and I just liked the way it said Reign Supreme, but it was just whatever.
Cool.
Some people would say they were a hype band, but I don't think they were. I just think they were good. I never consider. I know there's a lot of these bands that people consider hype bands, but if they're good, man.
I like music. I like what I like. I like
exactly.
music. I like bands that are blowing up for no reason. I like shitty, people putting a microphone in a dishwasher. I like whatever. If I can,
if it's good, it's good, right?
Yeah, man. I love Carly Rae Jepsen, man. I love, just give me the most sugary pop. That new Chapel Roan record is great.
Okay. When I heard of at the time, I was like, is this a band? What is this? They're like, no, just listen to it. And everybody was talking about it. So I was like, all right, let me fucking throw it on. Fucking A, man. That is a rad record. She is
Girl's got pipes. She's funny.
Yeah.
The songwriting's there. Like, I don't know. I love that record.
She just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just all of a sudden, biggest artist in the world. Like, from nothing to this big. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would check her. I like you said that. I like Lana Del Rey. I like her. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if it's good, it's good. I don't care what I like. What I like,
Yeah, lots of metal dudes, lots of heavy music guys. They're weird about.
You can't just listen to heavy shit just because you play heavy shit. You can't listen. It's like me after a show. Like even like I play a show, I can't listen to heavy shit after a show. I got to mellow out for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to more hip hop and folk than anything these days. I love my heavy shit, and I listen to weird, aggressive stuff. But day to day, I'm chilling out. I'm like a giant Mountain Goats fan. That's one of my favorite bands.
Okay, yeah.
I listen to a lot of folk and a lot of hip hop.
What hip hop are you into? The Atlanta hip hop? Or are you into everything?
Man, I don't have like a great like knowledge of it per se. Like my favorite hip hop artist is Billy Woods. I'm a giant fan of Billy Woods, and then he's in a group called Armand Hammer. And dude, it's some next level stuff. Armand Hammer does a lot of like abstract hip hop as a group, and there's a lot of really, really cool production. Woods' stuff, his solo stuff is a little more like in pocket, but all of it's some of the best music I've ever heard in my life.
Now, you say hip hop, like, so is it hip hop or is it rap?
I'm just a white dude who plays in a punk band, man. I guess I just say whichever one.
No, because like to me, hip hop for like me is like when I listen to like the lyrics, it's like for stuff like fucking the Roots or Common, like that kind of stuff. Check out a band from Nashville.
Okay.
It's a group. They're called 6-1 Tribe, and it's spelled out SIXONE Tribe, one word.
Okay.
They just put out a new album the other day, and it's like a 5 or 6 song EP.
Okay.
Phenomenal, man. Um, my buddy is in there. I interviewed him a couple weeks back, and I said, man, you guys kind of remind me of like the Wu-Tang from like Nashville, because
Oh yeah.
they range from like the age of 18 to 45,
That's
and it's
cool.
all these different elements of hip hop, or rap, and because they have different elements and vibes, but it's some good stuff, man. Like, you listen to it, the production is fucking amazing. So, yeah, me, like, I like a lot of hip hop. I like a lot of 90s hip hop and a lot of 90s R&B. I'm a huge he's a rapper, but some people say he's not. He's a country rapper, but I love Yellow Wolf. He's one of my favorites. I can listen to him any time of the day. He's the last 4 years he's been my number one Spotify artist of the year every year in a row. But you know, what's your that's something I said that's what I go to. What's your go-to record? Like, what's something you could always put on and be like, no matter what's going on, you can just put that record on.
Man, so the last year it's been Billy Woods Maps. It's
Maps.
Billy Woods and Kenny Siegel. It's a producer he worked with. It's called
Okay.
Maps. It's kind of just like about touring. It's just like a touring record.
Where is he based out of?
He is based out of New York.
Okay.
Really cool. He's a little older. He like worked with MF Doom, who's one of my favorite musicians.
Hell yeah.
Kind of that older, like New York kind of thing going on. So that's one of my go-tos. Man, I will always toss on like Modern Life is War's Witness.
Fuck yeah.
That I can just yell every word to. Shoot, man.
Do you like Defeater?
Yeah, I love Defeater. That's one of those bands that I kind of like came up with,
Well, when Modern Life is War, I guess I don't know if it was considered a hiatus where they broke up, but when Defeater came out, Defeater was supposed to be like they were going to be that band that was like them to go up that next level,
Yeah.
And they did that. They were a great band. I love both of those bands, honestly. And Defeater is the one band that I have never gotten to see. I've seen Modern Life is War a few different times, but Defeater is the band I have not seen, and it pisses me off. But
they're great live. Really fun. Yeah, great. The way they play guitar really influenced me, especially on the Endless Days and Sleepless Nights. They have those songs where it's a lot more like clean picked stuff, even though they're hardcore songs.
Yeah.
That's sort of like learning to play those songs really kind of shaped how I play guitar. So I have a very big soft spot for that band.
Yeah, man. What are they? Boston?
Yeah, I think Boston or a suburb of it, maybe.
The Derek solo stuff is so good too.
Alcoa? Is it Alcoa?
Alcoa, yeah.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I caught him at a Warped Tour. Defeater played, and then he did an Alcoa set in like the tent.
Oh,
really cool.
Yeah, Alcoa is really cool. What Warped Tour was that?
Shoot. It was probably 2013 or 14.
So one of the last ones.
One of the last ones, yeah. I remember them. I remember seeing them in like, I think the Wonder Years were on that. Who are a great pop punk band. I love the Wonder Years.
They're really good.
I can't remember who else I saw that day. They all kind of blend together, when you've been.
Yeah, Warped Tours were, I miss Warped Tour. They were fun. Hopefully, when they bring it back next year, it still has the same vibe.
Yeah, I kick my ass now. I don't know if I can go stand in a hot parking lot for 9 hours and watch bands.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, you hear about that When We Were Young Fest in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the first year that it happened, people were complaining and bitching about it. Well, that's the same place where that Country Fest happened a couple years at, where that dude shot from the hotel. Well, no one ever said that they were standing on concrete all fucking day. No. And in Vegas in the heat, so that When We're Young Fest, they're in the fucking 100-degree heat on blacktops. There's no shade. Water's like $5 or $6, probably even more than that. But
for sure,
I'm like that When We Were Young Fest, like, what more can they do? Like, there's not that many more bands from that era that are able to do these fests anymore. It's like now they're just gonna be When We Were Young Fest, but new lineups. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But no, the Warp Tour though, man. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know if I could sit outside in the fucking heat.
I feel old as is. Like I'm still in my 20s, but I feel old as shit when I go to a show. Like I can't imagine being at a Warp Tour with a bunch of 14-year-old kids who are all hyped on life.
Yeah, me, I was when going to these shows the past couple of weeks. That's like I'm there, and I'm 48. I'll be 49 in a couple of months,
Mhm.
and but it's like, man, I see people like my age with their kids, or they might even be their grandkids, because like
Yeah.
I started thinking, I was like, man, I could actually been going to a show at my age now with, say, my son or daughter
Mhm.
with my grandchild,
For
like there could be
sure.
like a three, because I went and saw Kiss probably in 2014 or 2015 in Nashville,
Yeah.
and that's what I saw. I seen grandma, and then I seen the daughter, and then I saw the granddaughter, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. But grandma was getting into it, man, and I was like, I don't know why I'm judging her because we're about the same age.
No age on this thing, man. I mean, like you
Music's
hear how,
music. There's
yeah,
no age limit to it, man.
you hear how nuts the drums are on like on our shit. And our JB's 50.
Wow, fuck
Uh,
yeah.
and he's the best. He's the most, he plays insane blast beats that are faster than anyone that I know can play. And so it's just an age.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like you said that, and that's awesome because I mean, definitely he brings a lot of flavor to the table for having so much fucking knowledge, and not knowledge, but like he's been around for a while, so he has so much influence he can bring to the band.
For sure.
I I'm about to start. I need to start a project here, and I think I'm gonna start a punk band. Um, my last hoorah will be this little fun punk band. What
Cool.
I kind of started my roots with. I kind of started with punk, and then um and I say I started with punk. The reason why I say I started with punk is because I got introduced to Misfits and Black Flag and that stuff when I lived in Germany.
Okay.
So, but then the next day I got introduced to Halloween and fucking Anthrax and Slayer. So I got introduced to all this genres at one fucking time. So my music has always been everywhere.
Yeah, that's how it should be. And man, Misfits. As soon as it starts to get a little bit colder, I'm listening to the Misfits.
Halloween
They're
time, man.
fall band. Yeah, they're a Halloween band, man.
Talking about them, did you seen last year where Twitching Tongues did a Misfits cover set?
Yeah, I
They
did.
they just finally shipped out a couple weeks ago the vinyl that they released that they had recorded,
Oh,
and
did
it's
it
some
take that
sexy
long?
look. It's so sexy looking. But they're doing another show this year, so
I would
I
love.
would
Where is
love
it?
to get a Twitching Tongues Misfits mashup shirt they were making. Those are pretty cool looking.
I would love to. I wish I had snagged that record in hindsight because I remember listening. It came out like on Halloween or something, if I
It was
recall.
good.
Yeah, I listened to it that day for like my record of the day or whatever, and I was like, "This is shit slaps."
I think it was last year too, where that band God's Hate released their version of Under the Knife by Hatebreed, song by song, and I was like, "Fuck,
Yeah, God's
pretty
Hate.
cool."
Yeah, some fire on that band. They're cool.
Yeah, I liked them a lot. I got introduced to them probably about five years ago, but I'm like, and I like wrestling too, so um, Brody wrestles, so
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
very.
Being from Atlanta, are you into wrestling?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I would go watch it, but I'm not. So I'm a huge like hyper nerd about college football.
Okay.
And I don't do other sports. I don't do the NFL. I don't really watch it. Like I hyper fixate. Like I'm talking I'll be up like reading stats about like Northern Iowa versus, Hawaii Tech or something. Like
Are you a Bulldogs fan?
I'm not, no.
Okay.
It's just sort of like this was my way to bond with my father, and he's a giant Alabama football fan, but
Okay.
I've like hyper fixated on the sport at large.
Hell
Like
yeah, man.
there's something great about a bunch of people who are like largely unqualified. Like they're superstars, whatever. But then there's a lot of people who are fully unqualified to be doing the shit they're doing, and just like shenanigans ensue. And you're like, people are gambling thousands of dollars on like some 19-year-old kid who's about to kick a field goal, and like maybe his girlfriend broke up with him, and he was up like
Yeah.
emotional, and it's just like it's a stupid sport, and that's what makes it really fun to me.
It's crazy how much bigger college arenas are compared to like NFL stadiums. Like
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
like for instance, uh in Knoxville, what the
Tennessee,
hell?
UT.
Yeah, what the hell's that damn in UT Knoxville? What the hell's that arena called?
Oh, I know it too.
But
Goodness.
that place is so fucking
Neyland
huge.
Stadium. Neyland Stadium.
Kneeling Stadium, yeah. But that stadium is so huge. I'm like, man, like you do. I think the closest thing the NFL would have would probably be like the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Yeah.
And but football for college football is insanely crazy. Could you see yourself doing anything with sports for college? Nah, you don't
No.
want to be like could be like an analyst or whatever.
No. I like it from afar. I don't really like people that like college football. I'm not like a big like go to the bar and yell at people kind of thing. Like I like
Yeah.
to hang out with my old man, put on the games, and like drink a Coke. And like that's kind of like my vibe. I'm not getting all into it. It's just a TV show that's fun, that comes
I,
on for a little bit of the year.
I always give people a hard time when they're like, "Man, we lost last night." I'm like, "Oh,
I'm not a week.
I didn't see you play. Were you? I didn't know you were there." And you're like,
And I was just talking to my girlfriend about this over dinner last week. I was like, it's not we. I'm not out there. I didn't practice all week. I'm a fan. Like I'm a guy watching a show.
I think it's so hilarious. We nothing. You
Yeah.
know.
You
And don't
didn't
get me wrong. When I get excited, I'll say it falls out every once in a while, but
for sure.
I don't mean it like that. So you said Alabama? Your dad was in Alabama. Is he Tigers or is he Roll Tide?
He's a Roll Tide. He's a Roll
Okay.
Tide, and by extension, I'm a Roll Tide. There's pictures of me in the little booties as like a newborn baby and stuff. It was just how I was raised, despite not going to school there or anything.
Auburn. That's what I was thinking. Auburn Tigers.
Yeah. Auburn's
Which
the
is I don't even know how the fuck I know this shit, but I know it. I know
It's,
enough of it.
it,
It's weird because I'm from California originally,
oh, where?
and coming out here, I didn't realize how fucking popular college ball. Like it's popular out there, but out here,
It's different.
it's a lifestyle to some people,
For sure.
And Little League baseball.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Like
Especially in Nashville. Especially
yeah.
in that area, yeah.
But yeah, baseball is a big thing. But I mean, it is. It's the South. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Would you say? I don't remember if you said it, but you said you hurt yourself playing sports. What did you play sports? What kind of sport?
So I did play football. I wound up just kind of fucking up a few of the tendons in my left shoulder. And it was the kind of thing where it's like you can do surgery and try and play in college, and I could go to some tiny school and get the shit beat out of me because I wasn't that good, or you can kind of move on with the rest of your life. And I was like, I'm a choose move on with the rest of my life, and I'm very happy I did.
I always tell people like, man, I wish I would have tried to play a sport and then just been like just good enough to make the team and then just sit on the bench the whole season and make a couple $100,000 for the season. And then I could just be good,
Backup quarterback's best job in the world, baby.
Yeah. Or get out there and during practice squad, just, oh shit, I just twisted my ankle. My bad.
Yeah.
And take the rest of the year off. But yeah, like you said, backup quarterback. Yeah, because like the third or fourth string quarterback, most of the time ain't gonna see a play unless somebody gets hurt. But yeah.
No, man. It taught me a lot of discipline, but otherwise, I don't care. I wish I'd just been doing music the whole time.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, favorite movie. Like classic answer is probably The Shining, but
Nice.
for something a little more niche, Possession is like the 1981 film.
Okay. 81.
Really cool. Yeah, really. You can see Sam Neill when he was like 22 or 23. He's in it. Really cool Polish film. And then I'll do a third one, and that is Hot Rod. The Andy Samberg comedy.
That's a good one.
Man, I've seen that movie like 200 times. I can just quote the whole thing.
When did that come out? Like probably early 2000s?
2008 or 2009.
Yeah. That's when he was on. That was when he was in his prime, I guess you'd say.
Yeah,
right?
you got Saturday Night Live going. You got Lonely Island going. The movie's great. It's so stupid. It's it's technically terrible, but great movie.
Lonely Island, man, blew all of them up. They all blew up from that shit.
For sure.
When I was going to go see Green Day a couple weeks ago, the guy I was going with, he played it, and I was like, we were fucking playing Lonely Island the whole way there, and we sung every fucking song. It's like, I'm like, I don't remember listening to this album this much, but how the fuck do I know every word to it? But it's just, it was when it
everywhere.
came out, it was everybody would listen to it, or you go to a bar and you hear them on a boat in a bar,
Yeah,
it was
it
good
was
stuff for
funny.
this time.
It was great. I remember watching those music videos over and over and over again with my friends. Like, I don't know. It was good.
There was one where Michael Bolton was in it. Yeah, Michael Bolton on one. Kenny G played the
Yeah,
clarinet. They had fucking people on there, talented people.
they weren't bad songs, like they're goofy, but they weren't the core of comedy music is it's still got to be good enough music for people to want to hear it more than once.
I mean, it's kind of like Tenacious D type stuff, but I think actually, and people might get mad, but I'm gonna say I think that was actually better than the Tenacious D stuff. That's just me.
But that's a harsh opinion, but no,
I know.
I'm probably with you just because of my age, because like
Yeah.
that was just it came out when I was a teenager, so it's the thing I like.
I've never seen Tenacious D. I've seen now. Kyle Gass has a side project called Trainwreck, and I've seen them many times because they have it's like a Southern rock style band, and they all dress with like leather vests, and they wear mullets, and they wear like this bandanas with a spiky fucking like the butch kind of haircut with the spiky hair and the long blonde in the back. Yeah, it was fun. All stage act. There's a Tenacious D song called Lee, Lee, the biggest fan. Well, that dude that song's about is actually the singer of this band Trainwreck.
That's funny.
And
That's
they come out and they're combing their hair and they're doing their fucking greaser shit too. It's great stuff. It's all like Southern rockish, but it's pretty fun.
Love that.
Yeah. But anywho, I can't believe we've actually been talking for hour and almost 30 minutes.
Oh man, yeah, it flew by.
Yeah. What's something that you want to talk about with the band that people need to know?
Man, you need to know that I'm in a band with three of the greatest people that I've ever met. We have John Kemp playing guitar. He has taken my little ideas and made them into something that people actually want to listen to.
Okay.
We have Jonathan Balsamo, who is the greatest drummer I've ever met. And then we have Dennis Maganda, who has sort of become the glue that put us all together. I love my three bandmates very much. I'm so proud of them. And I'm really excited for where we're going. And I think when this record comes out, if people hear it, I think people are going to enjoy it. I'm very excited.
Would you say Dennis was the missing link?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, every band has that missing link, I feel like, and I hate this, I say this about myself. Like, I feel like when when my band kind of dismembered, the rest of the remaining members went on and started a new project.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like, man, with us breaking up and me leaving the band, it kind of helped out because their new stuff is phenomenal. They're in a band. They're called Neo Vatra.
Okay.
And check them out. They got 3 songs on Spotify. It's NERO VARTA Vatra. No, VATRA Vatra.
Gotcha.
But they're really good stuff. Kind of like their newer stuff is way more kind of like Macedon Clutch, the Sword, that kind of shit, which is great. I don't mean to call it shit because it's great music.
Yeah.
But they're doing that. They're a 3-piece, really good dudes, really talented guys. Clutch is a band that people not a lot of people are into, but when you meet a Clutch fan, you know who they are.
For sure.
You like Clutch?
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen them a couple different times. I like them a lot.
Great band.
Shout out your band's socials, or if you have a link tree, I'll obviously put all that in the bio. But go ahead and announce it out.
Yeah. So we're on all the streaming platforms. Just Low Before the Breeze. New EP is It Kindly Bent Around Me. Instagram at Low Before the Breeze. Bandcamp. I think it's lowbeforethebreeze.com/Bandcamp. Yeah, you can find it all in the link tree that I'll shoot over to Russ, but just search for us. We have a couple of videos on YouTube if you search for us, some live performances, So yeah, that's it. If anybody out there enjoys this and would want to buy a cassette or a shirt, I will be happy to mail it to you.
Everything. All right. So out of the 6 songs that are on streaming services like Spotify and Apple and all that, what song would you recommend somebody checks out?
Apophenia would be the one to check out. I think that is kind of popping off right now. I think that's sort of the most popular of the three that we just put out. It's got your heavy stuff. It's got some clean leads attached to it. I'm really proud of the lyrics. I think folks seem to really be connecting with that one. So I would say check out Apophenia.
Sounds good, man. Well, Mr. Andrew, it was enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time, man. You're a cool guy.
Well, don't tell everybody that now. I got a reputation to uphold here. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate it. You are as well, my friend. With that being said, these two cool dudes are going to be signing off. Andrew, till next time, and keep rocking and rolling, my friend.
All right. Keep it real, man. Thanks for your time tonight.
Yep.
All right. See ya.
Well,